Cool jazz bar in Bangkok.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's love doing? Where's the coffee gone?
I still haven't been to Bangkok.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
There you go.
We want one, two,
Oh,
Yeah, not bad.
three.
Where is the love?
I just shared it into the group.
three honey, two passion.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, we are live. Okay, so we are just waiting for people to join. I think there's someone in there. You can turn the volume so it doesn't.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
you know.
muted.
Okay. Just gonna share it to. Thanks for joining. Who's online? You can tap to see comments and reactions. Okay, if you're online, just let us know in the comments. How do you view comments here? How did you do it last time? Where you? So here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Are we good?
Okay, looks like Maria's in there. Are you paying? Okay.
Maria is on.
Okay, so we are. What's going on?
Are we good?
What the heck happened?
It's live and then we stopped it. See?
Well, is anyone on there? Anyone can hear us or see us? Just give us a thumbs up, please, just to make sure that you are receiving this live stream.
Oh my god.
All right, yeah. Are we? I think we are live. So
Are we?
press play.
Yes, we have been live for 3 minutes apparently.
Okay, well there we are. We are live.
Yeah,
So
we are
hello,
live.
welcome everyone for joining in today.
Hello?
We are,
Cindy?
and I'm Ed
We're
from
from Downers Connect.
and we are here at our favorite cafe on the island, and it's a bit jazzy in here today, which is really awesome. So
Yes. Good start, eh?
yes, we are talking about this topic. It's how to pay yourself as a small business owner. All right. Now, let me just confirm that you guys can actually hear us. If you can hear us, just put a thumbs up, type a comment as to one word that comes to your head right now.
Jazz!
So, how come you can't see the why is the comments off?
I have no idea that. Oh yeah, can you see mine?
But that's the problem. I can't see anything because I'm looking at this screen.
Okay.
So I can't see that. That's why we need another device. Okay.
Looks like Maria's on.
Are we? It says it hasn't started yet.
Isn't it 8:30?
It's not that. It's okay. That's better. So we are live, and I'm not sure my device is not showing it's live though.
There you go. Oh, there you go. You tick.
Okay, it is working.
Okay.
Well, now that we know that it's working, let's get into it. All right. So, thank you for everyone for joining. If you are joining in as we are going, just give us a thumbs up and let us know that you are there. If you have any questions, do ask them so we can see. And first things first, if you haven't, so this topic really is the Q&A session for a podcast episode that we did on how to pay yourself as a business owner. All right, so that episode is now out and it's live. Oh my gosh, that's a problem. The URL is actually on there. It should be a T at the end there. So if you haven't listened to it yet, go ahead to foundersconnect.co/podcast with a T at the end. And that's where you can go and download this episode. Make sure you subscribe because we'll be sharing more tips over coming weeks and months to help you grow your business and your relationship. And our podcast is live on Apple Podcasts or iTunes as well as Stitcher. Okay, so let's move on. So if you do have a question on this topic, please let us know and just type it in the comment below. If you're watching the replay, that's fine too. Ask your question and that way Cindy and I can jump in there and respond to you. Okay, and it may end up being another topic for a future podcast or in our group. Okay, so now let's talk about. Well, let's start off right now with a myth. And what's that myth, Cindy?
It's normal to not make a profit when you're starting out, isn't it?
That's right. You just need to talk into the mic here, so because it won't pick it up.
Thank you, Mike.
Just letting you know. Okay, so
Can you guys hear me?
there. All right, give a thumbs up if you can hear Cindy. So again, the myth is.
Well, the first myth is it's normal to not make a profit when starting out.
Okay, so
Do you believe that?
yeah, give us a yes or no. Do you agree with that statement that you can't make business when you're starting out? So you've worked with a number of businesses in their finances department. What do you think about this idea that you can't make money?
These are what most people believe, and so the stats will show that. So normally I think it's the first 3 years that they normally struggle with. After the first 3 years, then it's all good sailing, kind of.
Do you agree with that though? That you, for the first 3 years, you shouldn't be making any money?
It's not that you shouldn't, but normally you don't, because you don't factor in your costs, your time costs, and also the unplanned stuff that you never foresaw. So yeah, if you really have to make out like the prior research and also getting the whole thing to start like a pre-cost, before the business starts, and then the start of it. So usually, or if you counter all that together, then usually the first year if you're really doing really well, you probably break even. But most of the time, it's more likely if you calculate it correctly, including your own time and your normal kind of price salary for yourself, then it's probably more like not a profit, but maybe if you do well, a break even.
So that sounds to me like the problem with more around planning the business and the money rather than that's the way it should be, because there are businesses out there that are making money from day one.
Yeah. That's why people are thinking more in regards to, but they haven't factored the fact that prior to opening the business, from the idea moment to research and all that time that they put in, then
Okay. All
So
right.
I think that's the mentality anyway.
All right. Well, we're saying that is a myth, and here's the problem. All right. So let's ask our accountant right here. Okay. So what's this that we're seeing on the screen here?
So revenue minus expenses equals profit. That's very the traditional way of doing the accounts in the books, and I think even when I was studying, that was the way to work out the profits.
Okay. So the key there is that of that particular equation is that the money coming in
Minus your expenses.
Then you subtract the money going out, your monthly expenses,
Yep.
and then whatever's left over is essentially your profit, including your salary, right?
Salary is supposed to be in your expenses.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, the problem is people aren't allocating a profit until they pay all the expenses, and then the trap there is that your expenses actually are far greater than
Your revenue.
than your revenue, whatever, and so then you don't actually pull any income, and there is no profit left over at the end of the month, and that's where there's an issue, because some people are under the misunderstanding that you can claim all of that as a loss with the tax department, and so then there's also a tax incentive to make a loss every month.
What there is, there's a rule from when I was studying that prior to that there was unlimited when you carry your losses forward, but then they changed that to 7 years bracket. But they might have changed it since I've studied or known about it. So you better talk to your tax accountant. They will have the updated information on that.
Now, the problem with following the old traditional way of doing that accounting is that if you're not structuring, your mind in such a way that you are actually pulling, you're prioritizing paying yourself first, then you always end up paying yourself last.
Not paying yourself really.
Or not paying yourself at all, and then your business can't really survive.
Yeah, and it also doesn't motivate you to continue.
Yes.
So that's a very important factor there.
Okay, so let's talk about the new way of doing this. Here we go. All right, what's the better way, Cindy?
So revenue minus profit equals expenses.
Okay, so this is a very subtle shift here. If you're looking at this slide and the last slide, you might not have noticed it. So tell us what's different.
So the difference is you minus what profit you want, and then whatever's left is expenses. The money left you use for all your expenses.
Okay,
So you have to be really good at allocating there.
So let's say that again. So this time what we're saying is, and this comes from a book called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. You see a picture of it, of the cover in the slide there.
Yeah, right at the corner.
All right, there. And so we recommend you read that and check out Mike's free resources on his website. They're really good. We've used them ourselves in our business. And it's a better way, because what you're doing is you're saying now, okay, whatever money is coming in, you're going to allocate to a profit first. So a percentage of that you're going to put away right away before you put anything to your expenses. So my immediate reaction when I first learned this was, wait a minute, but what about all my expenses? If my expenses are greater, how am I going to make sure that I can actually cover all the monthly fees and my time and everything else? And this is the beautiful thing about this, is when you allocate your profit first, then and that when I'm saying profit, I'm also including within that your salary, an allocation for your salary. Then you got to get creative with your expenses, which means you got to either cut your expenses, or you got to find other ways to get some of your services, whether you do exchanges with providers, or you create additional sources of revenue, income stream, right? So whatever it may be, this is the beauty of doing it this way. Anything else you wanted to add to the profit first idea and how it's helped us?
Oh, it definitely has, because it also helps us be more creative in how we allocate that amount for expenses, right? How we even allocate the expenses further down and cut whatever we don't really need right now, but so from that we actually cut quite a lot of stuff, haven't we?
Yes. So I went through a painful exercise of going through every single thing we were spending money on, and then
Do we need it now?
giving it to and just asking that question, and Cindy basically saying no to everything.
Of course.
Which is what you need. You need someone to make that hard decision. So and now anything that we want to purchase, especially me, when I want to purchase new things, I have to go to our CFO here, and then she will just go no,
Exactly.
or give me a good justification for it.
It's just basically entice me, and if I think it's okay, or if it's more beneficial for me, then yes.
Okay, there we go. All right, so now let's show everyone. This is the Cindy talked about having an allocation spreadsheet and being able to then move from that first profit allocation to then allocating to other things within the business. Okay, so do you want to just walk through each of those columns and what do they mean and why do we allocate like this?
So income is basically the inflow of the money that we
Make each month.
Yep. The profit is basically just a percentage of that amount. So we went for the 5%, and I think this was this percentage up here was a recommended, maybe.
Yeah. So these target allocation percentages were allocated. These are recommended through by Mike McCullough's team. So we're just using those for our business, and you can actually alter these as required for your business. All right.
Definitely.
But this was a good starting point for us. And so okay, so you want to continue. So we got our profit at 5% and owner salary.
Owner salary is what you take out for yourself as a salary.
Okay.
And then
And how much is that?
that's 50%.
Okay.
So
that's where we're actually applying the new formula. Where we're actually saying we're going to go 50% of the money coming in is going to our salary. Okay, so that's you might think, oh my gosh, that's a lot, and that's okay. You might start with a lower percentage. The key is that you make some kind of allocation there, so that goes to you first. And next,
the tax. So in anything, even if you don't have a business, you still have to pay tax. So it's good to leave a percentage on the side for it, and you don't need to stress when tax time comes, isn't it?
there you go. And so we're allocating 15%, which is pretty much online with Australian tax requirement. Is that right for a small business?
I'm not sure about that. When I did it,
Because GST is 11%, right, or whatever.
GST is normally 10%.
There you go.
11, 10%.
Yeah.
And that's different tax though.
Yeah, but we're
So
using
this
that as make sure we'll at least cover that if we have to.
Yeah, we do have
Yeah.
to cover that, but I think what this is for the income tax. So basically, there's a taxable income. So after all, like your income that you actually earn, kind of thing, and then you minus all your deductions and your expenses, then it goes to the taxable income, and the taxable income is actually applied to that tax percent. So it's a certain percentage. I can't remember what the company percentage is now.
Yeah.
But I think before it was pretty low. I think 20%, but 15% is what they suggested. So
Okay. Well, that's
you just have to double check that tax rate
yeah,
for
your location. Yeah.
every state is different as well. So just have to check that with your state.
But you do want to do the right thing and pay your taxes,
Yeah.
which is why we're including
You'll
it.
in a bum later.
There you go. Otherwise, you have
Don't.
the tax person come chasing after you,
Yes.
and we've got a tax person walking around behind us right there. His name is Frank. Okay, so then, all right. What else? The final thing we have here is what's that, Cindy?
Expenses. So that's what's left over basically.
Okay.
And yes, that's how much we have. And all of this has been formulated. And we also put on an allocated date. So you know when you actually allocate it. Some people want to do it weekly, monthly, fortnightly. So we here just at the start we were planning to do it weekly, but then it was too much work. So we went to monthly, and then as time needed and money come in, we just allocated from
Okay.
there.
So what are some of the within those 30% expenses? What are some of those things that we are paying for? As an example,
Well,
does that include?
accounting software.
Okay.
Uh,
Does that include? You mentioned salaries. Is that? That's not because owner salary is different.
no. Owner salary is different. Yes.
So
So it could be
contractors?
Contractors, yes. It could be your overheads. So overheads is basically the running cost of your business. No, sorry, that's the operating expenses. Yes. So basically, whatever keeps the business running, and without it, you would die, basically. And there's overhead, which is other costs and expenses that just come and go, kind of thing. So what we have website,
Yep.
hosting.
Hosting.
We had a lot of apps. I can't remember half of it, but we reduced it. What else do we have done? We have lip sync.
Yeah, so we've got
podcasting.
Podcast hosting costs money.
Yep.
So we're paying for an audio editor to edit all our podcast episodes. So that's a contractor, an outsourced contractor. We've got software licenses.
We have other licenses as well.
We've got a whole bunch of things. You mentioned Xero, which is our bookkeeping tool.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you need to run your business, you've got monthly ongoing. And then you've also got, you might have other expenses that are not monthly but come up.
Yeah, that's called operating.
Is it operating or is it
It can be
variable? Is it a
other.
variable cost?
Yeah, operating is variable.
Okay. So, all right. So let's just show you again, once again, those allocations.
Also, not operating. Overheads. Sorry. Oops.
Okay. So again, just recapping your income. So we started income is 100%. That's what you make in a month. That comes in. So here you can see the numbers. Just use an example down below. What this spreadsheet does, the way that Cindy has set it up, is you enter your amount of income in column A. So we put 1,000 down the bottom in the blue column in row 7, and that then automatically calculates based on the percentages the figures that goes into each bucket, if you will. All right. So profit is at 5%. Now that profit, let's explain what do you do with that profit. That 5%, you can actually use that money to reinvest into your business. You can use it to pay out. As a bonus if you want. You can do whatever you want to do with.
Yeah, we actually use it for our team retreat.
Yes,
Cebu.
That's right. We actually did that. So we went to Cebu in January, or was it February, and we met up with our VA at the time, and we had a nice team retreat happening over there. So that's something, again, you can use it for celebration and culture building within your business.
Yes.
So there you go. All right. So again, profit 5%, owner salary 50%, tax 15%, expenses 30%. They all add up to 100, and you can play around with those numbers. These are just recommended. You don't have to copy ours because they might not work.
You can
for you.
always 100% up there, and it will automate as well.
There you go. Okay. And now that's that last date allocated. What does that mean? That column F. Cindy?
Well, column F is just basically tells you what days you actually allocate all these to different accounts. We use accounts, and some people might use buckets, but account is the best way for this practical example, really.
Yeah. So one of the things that Mike Pakalas talks about in Profit First is actually how to set up your bank accounts for the allocations. We actually go into that in our free money guide, so you can actually go and grab that. Let me just make sure I'll give you the link now. Before we jump there, if you do have a question on any of this, please comment below. And here is where you can go and grab the Profit First allocation template, and we've also got in there financial goals for couples workbook with exercises that you can go through with your partner, whether that's your romantic partner or your business partner, or that could be the same person, like in our case. So there's a link, foundersconnect.co/money guide. Jump on over there and go grab that, and you can learn more about all of this in there.
Yeah.
Okay, any last words before we move on? We're wrapping up here, Cindy.
Well, if you haven't already looked at your finances, you should. And if you haven't got a system to pay yourself, you should try the system out, and tell us what you think about it.
Awesome, and also we also have a personal finance system that we're using as well, which we talked about in episode 2 of the podcast. So make sure you jump over there and listen to that. So we've got one for business and one for personal, and we encourage you to have 2 separate systems, 2 separate bank accounts as well for those, so you don't get confused and all mixed up. And if you haven't listened to episode 3 on how to pay yourself as a business owner, go and jump in there right now, subscribe to the podcast, and give us some feedback and review if you enjoy it, what you like about it, if there's anything we can improve. Looking forward to connecting with you there. So thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next week for our next Q&A. If you have any questions at all on business or relationship, let us know in comments, and we will be there to answer them for you. See you next time.
Ciao.